Not long ago, I reviewed a game called Voxel Blast, pitched as a cross between Star Fox, Tempest, and Afterburner. I had high hopes for this indie shoot-'em-up. Unfortunately, the game's awful controls and claustrophobic setting made it nearly impossible to have a good time. As much as I hated playing through the action game, it left me yearning for a competent 3D shooter. As it turns out, I didn't have to wait very long, because Kromaia Omega is everything Voxel Blast should have been. In fact, it's something most 3D shoot-'em-ups should aspire to. It manages to feel deep and complicated, all while mimicking the simple fun of Star Fox. That's not the easiest tightrope to walk, but the developers at Kraken Empire managed to surprise and amaze with their console debut. Not unlike Dark Souls and the games it inspired, Kromaia Omega is purposely vague. We're given only hints about what's going on, with the game hoping we'll be intrigued enough to dig deeper. The action revolves around a small but agile spaceship that is looking to take down the 4 gods that govern this universe. While this may sound straightforward, the approach is anything but. After poking around, you'll begin to discover that there are 4 large areas to explore, each with their own unique weapons and items to locate. The goal is to fly through the stage and pick up a series of 20 parts that will ultimately open up a jump gate. Once you've grabbed all the parts, a giant boss will show up and an epic fight will ensue. This is Kromaia Omega at its most traditional, giving players a real taste of space combat. It's messy and chaotic, often mesmerizing at times. But as tempting as it is to race from one checkpoint to the next picking up pieces for the jump gate, that's only part of what makes this game so compelling. You might not realize it at first, but the 4 stages are absolutely massive and full of additional areas to explore. Flying off the beaten path will not only uncover new areas, but also new puzzles to solve, modes to unlock, and items to collect. There were times when I was spending more time exploring the floating debris than collecting the objectives. With so much to find in each stage, it's probably good you'll be making return visits. In order to complete the game, players will need to beat the 4 gods with 4 different weapons you collect from each stage. Your ship starts out with a basic machine gun, but it quickly unlocks homing missiles, a focused laser, and a melee-style attack. But here's the rub. You'd only use 1 suit at a time, limiting the weapons in your arsenal. While the different weapons don't make a big deal when fighting through the various stages, they do change the way you approach each boss fight. The green Seeking missiles will have players sitting back, while the blue melee strike sees you up close and personal with the 4 massive bosses. The good news is that each ship has a powerful secondary attack that will charge up over time. If you can defeat the boss with all 4 colored weapons, you'll come one step closer to understanding the truth. It helps that our little ship is incredibly easy to navigate. It zips around with incredible ease, able to strafe up and down, roll around, and boost in all directions. There's a lot to get used to, but I found it accessible and easy to pick up. The emphasis here is on the action, and the gameplay does a good job of giving players enough control to handle every situation. This is a genre that hasn't fared well on home consoles, so it's refreshing to see a company get the gameplay mechanics right. Kromaia Omega also nails the presentation. Before you have a chance to search for hidden items and locate the jump gate pieces, you'll spend a few minutes trying to get your eyes to adjust to the utter chaos happening all across the screen. With meteors floating through space, ships flying around, bullets going everywhere, and other debris to contend with, the visuals can be a bit overwhelming at times, but that only adds to my enjoyment. There are times when I want to sit back and just take in the beauty that surrounds my tiny ship. Even with all that going for it, Kromaia Omega does make a few missteps. For one thing, I wish the game offered more than 4 areas. Don't get me wrong, the stages themselves are extremely large and full of areas to explore, but repeating them with different weapons feels a lot like busy work. More could have been done to change the dynamics of the stage with each new visit. As it is, the stage progression feels a bit repetitive. It's not just that you replay the stages multiple times, but also the missions repeat. You'll be stuck tracking down jump gate pieces, when that's only one of the mission types that could have been created in this universe. As somebody who thoroughly enjoyed the space combat and exploration, it's disappointing to see the developers hold back when it really counts. Kromaia Omega is a visually intoxicating space shoot-'em-up that absolutely nails the core mechanics. It could use a few more stages and another boss or two, but I can't say enough good things about the action-packed combat. Kraken Empire has created a game that perfectly captures the arcade fun of Star Fox, while adding the amount of depth that you would want from a modern game. Best of all, it finally washes away the horrible taste of Voxel Blast. Hey, thanks for watching my review. Sorry we haven't had many videos go up this week, but I'm still in holiday prep mode. I want to debut a daily show that runs between Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, so I spent this week getting all that ready. I think you're gonna love what we have in store. In the meantime, I do still have a few more reviews on the way. I'm currently working on Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition and Celestial Tier Demon's Revenge, both on Steam. So do me a favor and click the subscribe button to support what we're doing here. Until then.